Hello, and welcome to Addicted Like Us, a podcast discussing all things written by Krista and Becca Ritchie. I'm your host, Haley, and today I have Julia, aka Reading Chemist Chronicles, with me to talk about Some Kind of Perfect, Book 10 in the Addicted series. Before we go too far, this is part 5 of the Some Kind of Perfect discussion, so make sure you listen to the first 4 episodes before listening to this one, or you'll be a little confused with the timeline. A quick recap. I'm Haley, a longtime reader and lover of Krista and Becca's work. I'm also a part-time illustrator, and I had the privilege of working on the special edition covers for the Leica series. Now I just love to spend my time talking about all my favorite books, aka anything written by Krista and Becca. So the Addicted Like Us podcast was created so I could sit down with friends and discuss all of our thoughts. So let me reintroduce you to Julia.
Hi, I'm Julia, and I've been reading and loving Kristen Becca's books for 10 years now. I first found Addicted to You on a Goodreads list and read all the books that were out at that point, and then continued reading every book as they've been released. And I went from kind of a silent reader, Fizzle Force, and Patreon participant, and then started my Bookstagram last year. And um, I love chatting about all these books, so I'm happy to be here talking about my favorite fictional universe.
Yeah. Okay. So I forgot to say it for last week's episode, but I did mention that there was like a little break between Julie and I recording because I went on my trip to Australia and New Zealand when I went to the Rare signing. And I just wanted to give a shout out to this one girl, Amity. You came up and said hi to me and Rowena and that you listened to the podcast, and it meant so much to hear that we had listeners globally. I don't know how many people are actually listening to this podcast, but it meant a lot to at least be able to meet one listener in person all the way on the other side of the globe. So thank you for listening, and hopefully you enjoy our discussion about Some Kind of Perfect. So a quick recap of everything up to this point. I think again, like we did, my recap last week was, I think we're just going to do the same. Rose and Connor have 6 babies now. They have Jane, Charlie Beckett, Elliot, Tom, and Ben was born at the very end of our last discussion. Or he will be born. He hasn't been born yet. But like 2022 starts with Ben is born. So he's here. We're just going to say Ben is here. So they have their 6 babies at this point. So that is 1 girl and 5 boys. And as we're remembering, Rose and Connor are going to end their family whenever they have their girl. So they're still going with growing their family, which also puts this whole question mark over when Rose can be a surrogate for Reich and Daisy for them to have another baby. So right now, Reich and Daisy still only have Sully. And then Lily and Lo have Maximoff and Luna. And that's all they have right now. And Willow and Garrison did get engaged in the last part too. So I think those are like the really big milestones for the couples. Okay, so like I said, year 22 starts with Ben being born. Ben Pirip Cobalt, March 29th, 2022. And then we pick up with chapter 26. It is Lo's point of view. It is June at the Hale House. And Lily and Lo, they're getting it on. But it's one of those things where Lo's kind of reflecting on how far they've come, that like they're having sex because it feels good for both of them. Like it's not because Lily was being compulsive or stressed about anything. It was just because they wanted to. And Lo is very proud of how far she's come. And also he talks about how she's got a tiny little baby bump. So she is pregnant with their 3rd baby now, which is very exciting. But while they are in the middle of having sex, our sweet, sweet Maximoff, who has always had a problem with knocking on the door. I can't remember which year it was, but he has already barged in on them without knocking, and he has just done the same while they're in the middle of having sex. And he's like, what are you guys doing under there? No. But Lo is pissed, and he he snaps at Maximoff, get out of the room. You know you're supposed to knock. Get out of here. And he turns to Lily, who is absolutely mortified by the fact that her son just walked in on them. Oh, is pissed that Maximoff walked in on them. Uh, she's like, he notes that she was like hiding under the covers, but like not enough that like she's done having sex. Lo was like, yeah, no, we're gonna keep going. This kid is not gonna interrupt our morning. But then afterwards, Lo, like, they finish and Lo's like, I'm gonna go deal with our kid. And this is where we see this disagreement between Lily and Lo, that Lo wants to discipline him. He wants Maximoff to be grounded. And Lily doesn't want to do that. She feels guilty that they would punish him. And Lo tries to like reason it out that if we weren't having sex, I think, or if you weren't a sex addict, would you like I would still ground him over this. And Lily's like, no, it's like it's all about like where the I can't remember how she puts it. Let me see.
Yeah, because she's like, he should always come before sex.
Yes.
So she still would have felt guilty even if she wasn't a sex addict.
Yes. Yeah. I would have slept with you this morning even if you weren't an addict. Would you still feel guilty if you walked in then? Yes, because he should always come first. Not like that. Oh, Lily. But Lo is still adamant. He's like, no, I don't care. I personally think he should learn to knock. Like, we can't lock the door. If we're not locking the door on him, then he needs to learn boundaries. And then, so Lily's like, well, then we're in a fight. They haven't been in a fight in years. It's literally like Lo thinking, like, when was the last time we had a fight? And if you have to sit there and think about, like, oh my God, like, years ago, it's been a long time. These two don't fight. I also love that they announce, like, well, then we're in a fight. We're arguing right now. I remember this in, like, Kiss the Sky, I think, when Lo hid that he stopped taking the antabuse. She was like, well, we're in a fight now, too.
Yeah.
So Lo goes out to discipline Maximoff and basically explains, like, listen, buddy, I don't care what you're promising that you're going to knock. Like, you still have to be disciplined for this, so you're grounded, which means you can't watch cartoons with Luna, like no fun things. And poor Maximoff is absolutely devastated. He wants to go see Lily, be like, mommy, make this better. And Lo's like, nah, mommy knows what I'm doing. I'm laying down the law. And Maximoff says, I hate you. You can hate me, Maximoff. You can hate me for 2 days, Maximoff, but I'll love you. God, what is the line? I'll love you for 1,000 more. That's it. I love that line.
Yeah.
It's also Lo just like reflecting on how he is upset that Maximoff isn't listening to them and he does have to like lay down the law with him, but he's not his dad. The way Jonathan would have treated him, like grabbing his neck and like practically spitting in his face, being so angry and calling him horrible names, being verbally abusive. And even though Lo is harsh and kind of cutting, he's like really mean when he tells Maximoff to get out of the bedroom because he is not happy. He's still trying to be better than Jonathan, and he is like, he's grounding his kid for 2 days and his kid can't watch cartoons. It's not like I think the first thing that popped into my head is like Lo said that he didn't want to swim, or like I don't know, but like Jonathan punished him. He has like a swimming pool at his house, and Jonathan was like, well, then you don't get to swim in the swimming pool. Like, I have this massive thing and you don't even get access to it. And it's like, I don't know, like crazy punishment. But then like sending him to like a military academy, the threat there, it's like was so far away from those kind of threats and like behavior towards his children. He is not his dad. He's very far from Jonathan Hale.
No. Yeah, and there's a difference between like him being like, okay, I need to not only like set the rule because or like enforce some kind of, okay, he hasn't listened, because it's also like you mentioned, this is like a pattern that like I think it was when he was maybe 4. So, I mean, he's
Yeah.
7 now. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's been years. And it showed him like walking in without knocking. And at that point, he was like, he didn't punish him. He was like, okay, go out, knock, like try again. And that's
Yeah.
been something he's very much just been like, okay, like, no, remember we knock. So go out and try again. And this time he was like, no, that's not like, he's clearly not getting it, right? If that's
Right.
something that like, this has been something for years that he's not getting it, and it's something that like that's not okay when like then it's resulting in this whole thing. Then Lily's like upset and I'm like, it's just, and like then that's just like Moffy's not learning like we need to knock.
Right.
So what do we have to do? He's gonna get grounded. So it's not even like this like crazy, he's screaming in his face like his dad would have. Like it's
Yeah.
just he's being grounded.
Yeah.
So it's a very like
It's a mild
reasonable
yeah,
thing.
reasonable,
Yeah.
mild punishment. And like I'm thinking about it like they are these famous people, very wealthy, but like are kids being treated like any of us would be. He's getting grounded for 2 days. He's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Maximoff is clearly very upset, but that's the way it's gonna be. Lo goes back into the bedroom and like runs into Lily, and it's like, are we still fighting? He says that it looks like she's been crying. Like she very much did not want to punish Maximoff over this, and so it's like she's upset. They're still fighting, but she like goes into the shower and the shower door gets stuck and she's got her gangly little arms and can't close the door. So he like closes the door for her and she goes, "Thank you, but we're still fighting." They're so cute. So then it jumps to Lo kind of mentioned this that all of the kids were going to get together at I think it's the Cobalt Estate, but regardless, the kids are all going to get together because like one of the like paint companies, or I think it's paint, one of the Cobalt Inc. subsidiary companies overproduced on a line of like kids coloring either paint or crayons or something like that, which he said sucks for like Cobalt Inc.'s bottom dollar, but like really works out for the kids because now they get to play with it. They're gonna all go coloring, so they're all like in one place, like all together, and then it's Connor, Lo, Rose, Lily, Daisy, and Willow are off on this like secret mission. So Willow and Garrison did get married in May of 2022. So we didn't get to like see that on page, but they're married now and they're living in this like loft style apartment in Philly, and they need to see whether the windows are like tinted enough that they'll have privacy, because Willow has now moved back from London to Philly, and like one of the things that she got used to in London was the fact that there wasn't a lot of paparazzi that was following her around, and that's not the case now that she's back in Philly. So she's adjusting to that, and like having that extra layer of privacy is very comforting. So Connor and Lo are going into the loft apartment while it's Rose and Lily paired up and then Daisy and Willow paired up, and they're all on this like, I think it's a 7-way phone call because Reich is also here. Like, why am I on the phone right now? What, like, I'm not here with you guys. And I was like, well, yeah, you're supposed to be with us. But Sully gave you the puppy dog eyes and said, are you really going to leave me, Daddy? And he was like, nope.
Wrapped around her finger.
We talked about this in the last episode that like Reich has such trouble saying no to Sully, and we're seeing further proof of it here. So he's stayed behind with Sully, so he's not involved, and he like clicks off the phone call. But the girls are all outside of the apartment looking in to see what the tint looks like. And it like comes out that Lo and Lily are in an argument. I think that, yeah, Lo's like, Lily, are you okay? And she's like, yeah, but I don't think I'm supposed to talk with you. And it's like, what? Everyone's like, what do you mean Lily and Lo aren't supposed to talk with each other? What? So then it's that they're in a fight. So Lo assumes Rose and Lily are having this whole discussion of why are you two in a fight right now? And then Lo and Connor have this discussion of like, Maximoff came into our bedroom while we were having sex and I had to ground him, and Lily disagrees with me, and he's not looking for Connor's opinion on like, did I do the right thing, but like he's trying to justify his decision making to Connor. And I love that Connor's just like, no, that like even Rose and I, we have disagreements on how we raise the kids, and your decision is not wrong. Like, you're doing the best for your family, and that's all you could ask for. And he says, I just don't want you to believe you're not doing your best. You can't be me, of course, but your best is somewhere below, but not on the bottom. I thought I was your bottom. And then he feels very grateful that he has Connor's friendship, that Connor does invest his time and like energy into Lo, and like gives him advice on certain things. I think it's I don't when I was listening to it, I don't know, I found it like slightly interesting the way it's phrased of like Lo says, I'm lucky to have you as a friend. And like that the phrasing of it is like Connor doesn't believe in luck anyway. But I also love that like it's not just that Connor doesn't believe in luck. It's like now Connor believes in love. And like that's the reason why he invests his time and energy into Lo, is because he loves Lo, and like he cares about him and wants to see a better, like a happy future for him. Like he's happy to give advice when he can. So I don't know. I like that moment. Okay, so then they get a text from Jonathan saying that he wants to have a lunch with his kids, and their spouses are allowed to come, but the kids are not. And Lo talks about how, like, that won't even bother Reich because Reich tries to keep Sully away from Jonathan anyway. And while he doesn't let Maximoff spend too much time with Jonathan, like, Maximoff still does love his grandfather. So he'll be a little bummed that he doesn't get to go. And then he wonders about whether Willow will bring Garrison, because Jonathan was not, like, incredibly supportive. Like, he didn't try and stop the engagement or anything. We kind of see it more in bad rep that, like, he just thinks Willow and Garrison are too young to be getting married on the timeline that they were getting married. So it was like, he said he didn't say it in a very kind way. He said it in a very Jonathan Hale way. And so Garrison called him a gutless fish. And then Jonathan lashed out at Garrison, and poor Garrison has dealt with enough abuse in his life that he kind of like shut down at that point, and it was just a whole mess. So will Garrison be coming to lunch? We'll see.
Yeah. He says to Lo like he doesn't really know what to do because he wants to be there for Willow, but he also just does not like Jonathan. He's like,
Yeah.
I don't like him, but I want to be there to like support Willow. So
Yeah. And I think, is this the part where I don't know, like Connor has mentioned that Garrison has like the most unenviable position of being Jonathan's only son-in-law. Like Willow is Jonathan's only daughter, so he is going to treat, I think it's mentioned later, but like he treats Garrison differently because he's not actually his son, versus how Jonathan treats his other sons, which he doesn't really treat his sons very well. So the bar is like stupid low. So then they like refocus. Connor and Lo go stand against the window. We need to see how tinted it is. Can we see you guys? And they take off their shirts. Connor presses him up against the window very forcefully. It's Connor being Connor. And then he shoves Lo down so that they can see. I think they can see Connor's hand. Like Connor presses his hand against the window, and it was, okay, Lo, crouch down so that we can tell if they can see Connor's face too, which puts Lo at Connor's crotch level. It looks like he's giving him a blowjob. And Lily's over here like, oh my God, is Lo giving Connor a blowjob right now? Like, what's happening? And Daisy's over here like, nice nipples, boys. It's just a little chaotic, but they can see quite a bit in the window, so the windows need to be tinted, and Connor is more than happy. He has a company that can do the window tinting, and so he'll fix it. But also in the middle of this, it's Lily and Lo and their argument. I love how long it lasted. A couple of hours, and they won't have another fight for many more years.
yes, they're
It's
just
that's soulmate love for you.
Yes.
Okay, so chapter 27. It is now July 2022, and we are at the Meadows cottage. And Sully has so many questions. When does rain stop? What is rain made of? What if it rains forever? What would happen then? Our curious little girl. But basically, Reich is up early because Sully woke up early and she wants to do Mermaid Day with Daisy. It's like their little tradition that um, they dress up as mermaids and be mermaids, which I love. I love all the mermaid bits with Sully, but it's summertime and Daisy is at Camp Calloway because she is the owner of the camp. She needs to be there for, I think it's like a couple of spirit days that she needs to be there, and she's going to be gone for like 3 days. So Reich is like, fuck, our daughter loves her mother so much, and I hate telling our daughter no, and I have to tell our daughter that no, she can't do Mermaid Day because mommy's not here. This sucks. And he has to remind himself that, like, in another world, Daisy wasn't here. And so at least Sully knows her mom and loves her mom. She just has to deal with the fact that her mom is gone for 3 days. Sully is so sad over it. So Daisy is her, like, fairy godmother, mermaid, whatever. So Reich will become the fairy godmother in Daisy's absence.
He's wrapped around her finger again. Like, he will do whatever for that little girl.
Absolutely. He like I think Daisy has like some kind of leotard that she wears for all of this, and Reich is like,
Leotard to
I'm gonna commit to the bit if I like it's not just me claiming that I'm gonna be the fairy godmother. I have to dress the part, and okay, yeah, I'll dress the part.
Mhm. I also love that usually Daisy dresses up as the fairy godmother and he's usually the pirate that says bad
Yes.
words.
Yes, the foul mouth.
But since Daisy not is not there, he is stepping into the role of fairy godmother. He is
Yes.
wearing the leotard with tutu. He is like he's becoming the grumpy fairy.
Yes. And I also love that he's eating his granola and he like lets Sully eat some of it. She like chews it and then spits it back out, which is such a little kid thing to do. But we're already seeing signs of her. She doesn't like granola. She hates vegetables. She will only eat a waffle if you put a shit ton of whipped cream on it. This girl loves her sugar.
Yes.
But we're already starting. She's only like 4, I think, at this point. So she's developed quite a picky taste. And so Reich is like texting. He texts Daisy to see how she slept while she was gone, because that's obviously been a thing that she struggles with. But he also notices that he's got a text from Lo, and it just says Reich dot dot dot, which I think it's funny when we like actually get to why Lo texts him. But he says, so Lo says Reich dot dot dot, and Reich says, what's wrong? And Lo just says, can you come to the gym? So Reich is panicked because it's like, why is Lo texting me? We gotta go. So he like gets Sully all ready, kind of like he just basically puts her in the car because Reich is still in his tutu and leotard when they leave. He doesn't even bother to like really get them ready. He's dressed enough, so they like he has to walk from the car to the gym. There are paparazzi there, and they snap pictures of him in his ridiculous, or I don't want to call it ridiculous because I think it's so cute, in his not well fit outfit. It's meant for Daisy, not for Reich. So he gets pictures snapped. He talks about how like Shell Time TV, which is something that we talked about. I think maybe we talked about it, that it's like a game that Sully plays with Reich and Daisy to help her get used to the paparazzi. And he notes that like the Shell Time TV has kind of helped her get used to those guys shouting at them while they're walking into the gym, but she's still like very quiet around them, really tries not to like look at them or engage at all, which is different than like Maximoff when he was like just a couple of years older than Sully. He's like got a rapport with the paparazzi, so we're seeing like how we're seeing more of the differences between how Lily and Lo and Reich and Daisy raise their kids, and like how they will interact with the media and the paparazzi and all of that. And it's just something that we'll see more of in Sully's personality, how private she is in her life. So then Reich gets to the gym and Lo and Connor are working out and they're like, "What the fuck are you wearing, man?" And Sully's like, "He's my grumpy fairy godmother." Only 1/3 accurate, 2/3 goddamn classic. But Reich is like, I ran here. You texted me. Why did you text me that? And Lo was like, well, I just wanted you here. But I love that the way he writes it was like Reich ... And it's the same thing that I get on with my dad about. He's like, my dad's in the boomer generation. And when he does the ellipses, I'm always like, it sounds like you're trailing off. Like you have more of a thought to say, or like it doesn't have good, like a good connotation for me. And I think, not to call her out, but like I think I submitted like a sticker design for Krista and Becca, and Gina was part of it, and she said, "I love it ... And I was over here like, my God, she hates it. The ellipses means she doesn't like it at all. And I don't know, like, so that's the way I'm reading this, that he did Reich ... And yeah, that's like negative connotations there. I don't know. But Lo is not of the boomer generation. I don't know why he's typing this way. I think it's really funny.
That is like, the ellipses is just like,
It's bad news.
yeah, it's something that I feel like some people in, yeah, like parents' age, it's
Yeah.
very like, just everything. I feel like, yeah,
I
that's
have a
something
text
that my
from my,
mom does too. It's just all the ellipses.
yeah,
There's a lot of, and I'm like, that's not how well, I
yeah,
feel like I
like,
just don't really use ellipses a lot. Or not as much as some
yeah,
people
no. Yeah, but like the older generation does. So I find it really funny because Lo is only like, I think he's 5 years older than me. And like, buddy, you're not that
do.
old.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be talking, you shouldn't be texting like a boomer. Okay. You're a
Yeah.
millennial.
Yeah. Hello. I don't.
But it's very meaningful for him that like Reich would literally just drop everything, does not care that he's in a tutu and leotard, and will come to his brother's side at a moment's notice.
Yes.
It's so cute.
Not even stop to be like, I'm still wearing
Yeah.
this tutu. He was like, I didn't even think about it till he was already there and was like, oh, I don't have a change of clothes in the car. Oh well, guess we're going in this.
Right. So then they make fun. It was like, Christ, do I need to send like an SOS message when there's like an actual emergency? And Reich's like, no, I only need one Lily in my life. Lily's always like, SOS, I can't find the TV remote. And Reich's like, fuck you and fuck you. And then Sully goes, fuck me. It's like, crap, my foul mouthed daughter. No, that's a bad word. You cannot say that word. And I love that it's Lo's. So she goes, fuck me. And Lo's like, oh shit. And hey, Sully, don't ever say that. Don't ever say that again. That's fucking bad. Lo proclaims, I will go batshit crazy if Luna says that. Like, buddy, you're cursing too. Why are we saying shit? Is fuck the only word they're not allowed to say? I don't get it. Lo, watch your pouty mouth around Sully. You're complicit in this. You're part of this problem. And then it's Reich is like, every time you say a bad word, you have to eat a veggie. Like, that's her punishment. We just got done with the punishment of like Maximoff breaks like the rules and he gets grounded, no TV, nothing.
Cartoons,
Sully is
yeah.
4 and she curses and it's, you have to eat vegetables.
Like, we know what the worst thing is for Sully, the vegetables.
Honestly, but also I feel like that's the worst Reich can possibly do. Like, punishment wise, it's like, right,
Yeah.
what kind of punishment are you going to give your daughter if she misbehaves? And it's like, I guess I'll force her to eat her veggies.
Eat a veggie. Because even that, he's like sitting here feeling so bad. He was like, just one veggie. Like, because he was like, you'll have to eat one. And she's like, what? Like, it was real. He's like, just one, it's okay. Like, and then she's just like, oh, she looks so sad. Like,
Yes. And
he's like,
Lo's over here like, lay down the law, man, with the gavel. It's very cute. So then it's later. I think it was one day that Daisy's been gone when all of this happened. So now it's been another day that Daisy's gone, and it's early morning. And so, yeah, it's 5 o'clock. So Reich decides that he's just going to call her and FaceTime her while she's at, because she's probably awake too. And he talks about how, like, how their lives have changed, that like there was a time that they could, like not see each other for several days and like go on their own adventures and they'd be totally fine, but now it's like he's really missing his other, like when she's gone even for a couple of days, he feels like he's missing his other half. He's like, we're not as bad as Lily and Lo, but it feels like we're getting there. But she picks up the phone and they just talk about like how well did she sleep, which, pretty well for not being at home with him. She did sleep for 6 hours, which is, it's a decent amount of time to have snoozed. And she talks about how like every mountain reminds me of you. You're speaking to fucking mountains now, sweetheart. Only the mountains you've touched. Those are my favorite. I love them. And Reich is like, I'll see if Sully's still sleeping. She'll want to fucking see you. I love that he's like, there's every possibility that my daughter's awake at 5 a.m. So I might as well just go check. But he also asks if Daisy's been online at all, because the paparazzi pictures of him in his leotard have been making the rounds. So she goes, why did something happen? It's just a fucking picture of me. Lo keeps sending me the photos with heart emoticons. Listen, that's what brothers do, okay? So she goes to find these pictures. She's like, you dressed up for her. Because I fucking tried. And she says, I know people always remind Lo of this, and for Connor, it's just known, but Reich, you're an amazing dad. I love that she like, I don't know, part of me was like, I literally never questioned whether Reich would be a good dad. Because he says, I'd be lying if it didn't hit me like 1,000 tons. He did distanced himself from Jonathan like very early in life and never really had a paternal figure. But like even knowing that, I don't know, like Reich has always felt very paternal and like such a protector that like I never questioned whether Reich would be an amazing father. It's just like so very obvious that he is an amazing father. In all honesty, I would have questioned Connor because he was the one that like completely admitted to not believing in love and wanting 8 children. So like I'm going to question that a little bit more than Reich Meadows, who just didn't have a great dad growing up. But just my opinion. Of course,
yeah.
Reich is an amazing dad. Yeah.
I think it's nice that she like
Acknowledge it.
acknowledged that like people don't often say that to him because
Yeah.
even if it is like people even if people don't say it because they think that like he already knows it or they just expected him to be good, it's nice to
Yeah.
still like acknowledge that.
Yeah.
So to be like, yeah, people say it to Lo a lot, and like Connor doesn't. Even if like they expect Connor, like he also does probably might not like need that. Like
Right.
I don't know, but like it's good to hear it. Like
Yeah.
it's good for her to like say like for Rick to like
Yes.
have that acknowledged,
I'm just,
especially from
yeah. I
Daisy.
mean, it's good to be acknowledged. I suppose I'm over here like every time Reich's on page with Sully, I'm over here like, oh my God, he's the best girl dad. Like,
He
who's not
is.
acknowledging this to Reich? I'm over here acknowledging it like every time they're on page. Guys, we gotta do better. Give
Yes.
Reich his flowers here, people. Come on.
I always like I don't know. I feel like this scene of him dressing up in that like fairy godmother tutu is just like that is just like such a like I don't know how many dads would do that. Like that's just such a like
Not my dad.
like that's just very like he will do anything for his daughters. He
Literally
doesn't he's
anything.
not embarrassed. He doesn't care. All he cares about is like making them happy and like he just is like, okay, Sully's sad. Here we go. Like I don't care. Like no shame, no like embarrassment, no like, oh, that's stupid. I don't want to do like he literally does not care. He just will do anything for Sully and I think yeah, that is one like really big example that I think is like a key or like a yeah, I don't know, like a really prime example of like Reich as a dad.
Yeah, I agree. But then, so he goes into Sully's room, and of course, she is awake and she's very happy to see Daisy. Yeah, I think she's awake. Yeah, when he opens the door, yeah. So she's awake and she sees Daisy and she's very happy, and just very, it's a very sweet moment that even though Daisy is so far away, the three of them are all together again at sunrise. Best time of the day for them. All right, so then we have chapter 28. It is now December 2022. And it's Lily's point of view. She is at, I like the description is the Haleco elevator. Like it's very specific where she is in this moment. And also she clarifies that she's in a nightmare. That's how this chapter starts. And basically, as we'll remember, Lily is pregnant and she is 9 months pregnant at this point. And she and Reich are stuck in an elevator. It is the holiday Christmas party that Haleco is hosting, and she and Reich got in the elevator together, and it got stuck. Yeah, that would be my fucking nightmare. I have like a claustrophobia, uh, or like I am claustrophobic. I also have a fear of elevators. I have legit nightmares about them. Yeah, that's my nightmare. Literally my nightmare right there. So Reich is like pulling apart the mechanical box, trying to figure out what's going on. They've got zero signal because it's a freaking elevator shaft. Of course, you have horrible signal in those. So they can't contact anybody. And Reich is not having any luck with this box. It's they're stuck there. And he like suggests maybe I like open the latch and climb out, and Lily's like, oh my god, do not fucking, like, no, you're not doing that, please don't die, it's very dangerous, don't do that. But it's like constantly mentioned that like she's like, maybe you boost me up, and it's like, well, we can't do any, like, we have to be careful with you because you're very very pregnant right now. So just a big concern right now. And after 2 hours they are still stuck in the elevator, and Lily is on the floor, and she not feeling great, possibly having contractions. Yeah, I've been tight-lipped about the pain that started about an hour back, which feels a whole lot like contractions. Denial is a natural mode for me. But she's like, hypothetically, if we're still stuck here, would you be able to help deliver, she says, would you be able to help deliver Xander? So we learn what their baby's name is. It is Xander Hale, and it's another sweet moment between parts of the core six letting letting like each other name their kids. So they were having, Lily and Lo were having trouble trying to decide on a name that they wanted for their third kid, because Maximoff and Luna were like really easy choices for them to come up with, and they hadn't thought about like, oh my god, at that point they were like, I can't even believe we're having one kid. The third kid was like nowhere on the horizon. So they had like this list of names that they gave to Reich, and let him choose the one that he liked best. And he picked Xander for Alexander Summers, and he just like crossed out the first three letters. And it's very, very touching because Alexander Summers is the brother to Scott Summers, which is someone that Lo feels like quite a deep connection to. And like Reich admits that he like did so much research into what all of these names that they picked. Like, so cute. So he's gonna be Xander Hale. And this is where like she mentions that all of the Hale kids don't have middle names, so they want their kids to go by their first names, so he's just gonna go by Xander. But that's very sweet. And then, of course, in the middle of all of this, poor Lily is like, I think I'm having contractions right now. I don't know if they're contractions. Reich's like, what do you mean? This is your third baby. You should know what it's like. And she's like, well, I'm not an expert. Rose has had like 6 kids already. And he's like, one baby makes you an expert, okay? She can be an expert, and you can also be an expert. And like, Lily, are you about to have a baby? Are you
I
crying?
also love,
No. Rose wouldn't cry. You're not Rose, and you don't have to fucking be her. She wouldn't want you to be anyone but you. I love that reminder too.
yes, I love that. Because Rose, I think she's so strong and the like, oh, well, I need to be like her to be strong, but it's like, no, Lily, like you're strong like as you are, and like Rose would say that. Like, no, like
Yes.
you just be like you.
It's the acknowledgement that, like, Reich sees how strong Lily is and knows Lily so well, but also like this subtle reminder that like Reich knows Rose really well and knows that Rose would insist this too. It's just like they all know each other and love each other very well and just want them to be comfortable in their own skin and all of that. It's like Lily's really worried. One of the things is that like she doesn't want to have one, she doesn't want to have the baby in an elevator. Two, it's like it's Christmas Eve. She was supposed to like celebrate like Christmas and see watch Maximoff and Luna open their Christmas gifts, and now and like she won't be there. And he's like, Daisy records all of this stuff. You can watch the video later. It's fine. Like, don't worry about that. Just like focus on yourself. You're kind of like going in and out with this pain. I need you to stay focused for me. And it comes to Lily. It feels like you might be in labor. I need to check. So I have to look. And this is not going to change anything between us, okay? But I have to look. And as he like goes to see how far along she is, her water breaks. She is in active labor now.
It's happening.
Yes. And of course, that sends her into a panic because Lo is not here. All she wants is Lo. And Reich, there's a reminder from Reich that, like, listen, you did 3 months without him, which he doesn't mention it, but like 3 months of celibacy, like, if I feel like pretty cold turkey for her. And she got through that. So she is fucking strong. And even though it'd be really nice to have Lo there while she has this baby, like, she can do this without him. It's okay. She's like, I don't care. I take 3 more months of him in rehab, like 3 months away from him as long as he's here at this moment. So anyway, so he's like, Lily, you have to start like timing your contractions. You're in active labor. I need to know how far along we're getting here while we're stuck. We'll try and get you out of here, but like for your health and the baby's health, we need to like pay attention to this. And she just like is so upset that Lo's not here. He's part of her soul. He's in her soul. It's always been this way. His absence tears and tears my insides. And she's just very out of it. And then all of a sudden, someone pokes their head in the elevator above them. And she's like, oh my God, did I just like hallucinate that? And then Lo pops in and he's very concerned. Like, oh my God, we've been trying to find you guys for literal hours. We were calling hospitals, checking to see if you guys got in an accident. We saw that your cars were in the parking lot. So we knew that if like you had to be here somewhere, you clearly made it to the building. And that was when they figured out that the elevator was stuck. So they were working on trying to get to them. And so Lo asks, like, how long has Lily been in labor? And Reich's like, it's been an hour, which the way the chapter is written, we don't get that sense. It's just Lily thinking about, like, Lily's in her head a little bit for like a single page. And apparently that was an hour of her just so stressed, so out of it. She's like, no, that's wrong. And he's like, you've been fucking out of it. And then Lo's like, how's she been doing? She's been fucking out of it. So Lo says that they've called an ambulance. They're gonna get Lily out of there. They get the elevator moving and it finally gets down to the ground floor and Lily is put on a stretcher. And the whole reason that she was coming to this holiday party was because she wanted a sugar cookie. She wanted a Christmas sugar cookie, and she knew that Lo would not bring a sugar cookie home for her. In fact, he would bring a sugar cookie home for himself and eat it in front of her and be a sugar cookie tease. So I love the whole chaotic scene of her being loaded on this stretcher, and Rose is shouting at Xander to stay inside just for a little bit longer. Rose is the expert. Rose, I don't think you're the baby whisperer in this kind of moment. You had your kid in a fucking limo. I'm sure you were screaming the same thing at her and it didn't work. But good try. So Rose is shouting that and Daisy puts a little sugar cookie on Lily's belly and she's like, "Thank you. That was all I wanted, Daisy.
Yes.
Whole reason I came. So, at least it wasn't for nothing."
Love each of their like what all of them are doing because it's like just so like to the T of
Absolutely.
what like Rose yelling at Xander to stay inside, Connor coaching her on breathing, Wright
Yes.
talking to the EMT, like making sure everything's
Yes.
okay, Daisy giving her the cookie because that's all she wanted was that sugar cookie, and then Lo, of course, is like, you know, next to her, holding her hand,
Yes.
like making sure she's good. And it's just
Yes.
like that's just
It
what
is.
everyone would be doing.
It's very peak core six, even in this incredibly chaotic moment. And then she says an hour later, or not an hour later, an hour after midnight. So it was Christmas Eve. It is now Christmas Day. She has a tiny little Christmas miracle in her arms. So Xander Hale, born December 2022.
Christmas baby.
Yeah, our little Christmas elf. All right, so we are going to end part 5 here, and then we'll pick back up with part 6 and the year 2023 in the next episode. So until then, continue to stay addicted to Chris and Becca's writing like us.